just want to say I have done one of the probably the hardest jobs on a vehicle I have ever done, ever, that I can remember in all of my years, many moons of doing this. This is a Ford Focus 2005 zx4 Focus. Didn't know that Ford had many trim levels on their vehicles. I had no idea. I didn't know that Ford had many trims on their vehicles. So what I want to say to the YouTube world and all mechanics that do this kind of stuff like I do, this is an SE model. Don't know if the trim levels matter, but definitely one of my harder jobs. I just removed, it took me 2 days to remove the driver's side CV Axle from this car. And when you do that, there's a pin in there that Ford designed specifically to use a tool to remove the CV Axle. No problem. If man put it together, man can take it apart some kind of way. But I did it. I got this on. It was one of the hardest things I've had to do. It started out with trying to replace the my bearings, wheel bearings. And the wheel bearings were going bad. Wheels were shaking pretty bad. So I replaced a few parts. I had to replace the stabilizer link bar. Had to cut it in half. Been on the car for a while, rusted off. There's the old part. It's right there. So yeah, I had to end up cutting that in half. But I removed the whole. I just replaced the shocks, and I went to the junkyard and got some more shocks. And I didn't have a press, so I went and grabbed the whole housing and everything. But bottom line, I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying, yeah. So if you gotta replace the driver's side CV axle on this car, or if anybody out there doesn't have the skill to do it, and you go to the dealership and they want to charge you an arm and a leg, you know, because of the shop hours and the time it takes to do it, all I'm saying is be prepared, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I know the experts have the tools. I would imagine that it still probably takes some time to get this done. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that very quickly. What I ended up doing was here on the housing that holds, you know, that this sits on. There's a housing right in there. Let's see if I can get up under there and show it to you real quick. So yeah, that metal housing that goes in there, I drilled a hole right about in there on one side, and then drilled a hole on the opposite side. I stuck some U-bolts in there and a chain, and had my chain coming out this way. Of course, I had to avoid, you know, you want to definitely avoid your brake line, but it's a really narrow space in there. And I just had to yank on it, and I yanked on it, and I yanked on it, and I just yanked on it, and it finally snatched out. But yeah, that's what I did. So that was what I did. I kind of got a little bit of the idea from another guy, a Canadian guy that was changing his out. I'm pretty sure you've seen him on there, but shouts out to him. I don't know your name, big guy with the Focus that was in the shop that used the pulley tool. Shouts out to anybody else that's out there working on these vehicles, and I have to come up with an ingenious way to pull that out. Of course, you have the easier way of removing the passenger side just drive axle and just banging out, just hammering out this CV axle from the other side, but I don't think anybody has time to do that. So, but anyway, I did that. I'm just sharing that with you out there, YouTube world. Thanks for watching. Signing off.